Hi y'all, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah and today we're going to talk about 3 more new releases and if I think you should pick them up and what my thoughts were. Reviews are subjective. I will try to give you things that I liked and didn't like and you can make your decision from there. We'll start this off with the book I'm waving around. That is A Stranger in the Citadel by Tobias S. Buckle. This was originally an Audible original, so if you want to listen to this on audio, it is already out. As of filming, this is not out, but it should be out now that the video is up. I think this video is going to go up after this comes out. This is from Tachyon Press, so thank you to them for the art. But this follows a young girl named Lilith. She lives in a citadel, and her world, the citadel, is called Ninthia. And one day a librarian is pulled out of the desert. He's trying to steal a goat for food. And in this world, books are a sin and librarians are burned or strangled or, killed in general. And Lilith saves his life. She is the daughter of the Lord Musketeer, who is the leader of the Citadel, and she says, wait, let's find out if he has information. And he is brought before her father, and he's sentenced to death, but a slow death in the chambers beneath the Citadel. So she takes the opportunity to ask him questions because she knows a secret about her father that could unravel the whole place. Things pop off. She lets some information slip to the wrong person, and she is chased out of the Citadel with the librarian, whose name is Ishmael, and her brother. From there, they go on a journey to find safety, to find a way to retake the Citadel, and she learns some hard truths about the world she lives in. I'll go ahead and get out of the way. The pitch doesn't sound that interesting. It's intriguing, but I've heard it before. Books are banned, dystopian world, whatever. This is a fantastic twist in it. This feels a fantasy, but I will go ahead and tell you, because I don't think it's too much of a spoiler, this is science fiction. And not science fiction in the dystopian way, but science fiction in the true science fiction way, in that this might be in space. We might not be on Earth. We might be on Earth. We don't fully know. It's good. I really loved this. I loved the twist. I loved the ending. They eventually are being chased by an angel of a kind. Really fun. I would absolutely read more in this world by this author. I want to know how this place came about. I want to know what led to this kind of setup. I would love to know Lilith's journey from here, what happens to her. She ends up with kind of an open ending. We don't see what happens to her. She takes off on another journey, and I would love to read that. I ended up giving this, I think, a 4.5, 4 stars online. The only thing I could really want is more. There were a few places where I felt like we needed just a little bit more information. It was great. I know it was short on purpose because Audible originals usually are kind of short, but more meat to this or a second book. Fantastic, fantastic. I think this is one you should pick up if that sounds at all interesting to you. If you want something with an interesting science fiction twist to it, it's a fun read. I really, really liked this a lot. The next arc that I have is a fantasy. It's also a short format. It's a novella. This is Across the Sorrow Sea by Anthony Ryan. I can't talk about this too much, except to say this is the 5th book in a series that I have been reading from Mr. Ryan for years now. This is the Seven Swords series, and this follows a man named Pilgrim. In the first book, we see him go on a quest. He wants to find a way to get rid of the sword that he is bound to. He's immortal, near immortal, and he carries this sword that has a demon trapped in it, and that demon talks to him. And in this first book, he joins this group who are going on a pilgrimage to see this mad god because he thinks perhaps the mad god has the answers. There's 5 books, so I feel like there's no spoiler in saying he doesn't. And along the way, we find more of these demon-cursed swords, and a party begins to form around Pilgrim. And we get a clear objective, and that is to find Seeker, who is in the first book as one of his companions' daughter. She's gone missing, and they find out that she has some ties to the demon-cursed swords now. So they're following Seeker's daughter, trying to find her, and along the way finding more of these demon swords. And in this book, we finally find out why the demon swords were created, who created them, and we're pacing up to the final conflict. I think there's supposed to be 7 books in this series. This is the 5th one, so we're getting close to the penultimate one. I am so excited. The twist on this one, like the reveal of what the actual 5th sword wasn't too twisty. I kind of saw it coming, but everything else around this was fantastic. The cover kind of gives you an idea of the type of monster we see. All those fight scenes were great. So if you like this series, this is definitely one I recommend continuing on with. This was much better than the last one, which I didn't think was quite as strong as some of the others. And if you haven't tried the series, they're novellas. They are low investment. The ebooks I think are available for $5 on Kindle, and they're also on audio. Give it a shot. Give Anthony Ryan a shot, period. He is one of my favorite authors, and this is a great example of his work. The final book is totally different. That is Juniper's Christmas by Ian Collifer. I'm not sure how to say his last name correctly, or his first name, really, it's been years. The last time I read one of his books, I think I was a teenager, and I do believe it was the, oh, what are they called, with the genius boy? Artemis Fowl. So it's been a long time since I've tried his books, but this cover really drew me in, and I didn't have any Christmas reads to kick off the season with. It's fall. I love to read Christmas reads in the fall, up and into the Christmas time, and this was one that jumped out at me, and I really enjoyed this. This is about Juniper, and at the beginning of the book we find out Juniper and her mom are recovering from the grief of the loss of her father. They live in a park, and they are the park caretakers and look after the park and consequently the unhomed population and those that live in the park. At the beginning of the book, her mother goes missing, and Juniper is determined to find her mother. So she finds one of the women who lives in the park, and they begin to try to locate Juniper's mother. And along the way they meet, well, the woman already knew of him, but Juniper meets Nick, who may or may not have ties to Santa Claus, who stopped being Santa 10 years ago. Santa Claus just stopped his work 10 years ago, and now it's kind of an urban legend. Kids younger than 10, or close to 10 years old, really don't remember a time when Santa Claus was around. But adults, of course, and teenagers remember, so people are always looking for Santa Claus. They're holding Santa vigils. People want Santa Claus back, but he left. He quit working. But Nick might have some ties to Santa. I mean, it's kind of obvious. But the magic in this was great. The story really had me, like, in it. I was really, really dedicated to this. I couldn't put it down. The Santa Claus movie with Tim Allen, I think is the one I'm thinking of, where there's like all kinds of gadgets and gizmos and the elves have all this magic. That's the kind of vibes this has, and it was just so good. I loved where it went with Juniper and Nick and the Santa magic, and this is a great Christmas story. I'm going to buy my own copy. I have it on pre-order, and if you have like a young middle grade reader, I think they would really love this. I adored it. This was like a 4.5 stars. All of these, if you can't tell, are yes, I think you should read them. This was a great little batch for me. I really loved all of these. So let me know what you think down below. If you picked up any of these, are you interested in any of them? Do you read Anthony Ryan? I need more Anthony Ryan fans. I love his work. Let me know all that down below, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye, y'all.